Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back to another video. Started things a little bit differently. Obviously, I'm not in a garage. I'm sitting here editing this week's video. This week's video is a little bit chop and changed. We kind of put it together over a couple of evenings, and we were against time trying to get the car started before it was too late and the neighbours were, complaining about the noise again. And then in amongst all of that, just to put a little bit more pressure on things, my wife went into labour and had my third daughter 2 weeks early. So the video kind of ends mid-time lapse and is to be continued. Obviously, I've not been down the garage for a couple of weeks, but I am due back down there next Tuesday to finish what we started in this video. And then probably, as you can see just above me there, nice big desk ornament. I have got everything I need now to get the big new whole set fitted to the Fiesta. So hopefully we'll be getting that done in the weeks over Christmas. But for now, enjoy the video. God, fucking weather, man. Ooh. Right, turn the lights on. Down. That down. That's grim out there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another evening. Hang on, let me just shut the door. Boom. Right, welcome back to another evening down the garage, working on little Blue Nova. No messing about tonight because time is already getting on. It is already 8 o'clock before we've even got started. Dean is on his way down. And the plan is tonight is to start her up. Basically, is to start up little Blue Nova and hear this fully built C20XE burst into life. Basically, don't want to go any further. So we got onto the engine parts. I don't want to go any further at the moment without first hearing the engine run, making sure that it runs, it makes oil pressure, all that sort of nonsense before we go any further. Because the last thing I want to do is get the car fully built, down on the road, ready to go, turn the key and have a problem. So that's the plan. Two things to do. One is connect the oil pressure gauge up to the back of the block. As you saw in the last episode, we've got all the gauges in. Just need to connect this little mechanical line up to the back of the block. I think that's the boost line. Don't connect the boost line to the oil. That wouldn't be good, would it? Pull it out. If I can pull it out. This one here. Ta-da! Right. Connect this one to the back of the block so that we can make sure we're making oil pressure down here. And then quickly bang an AN8 fitting just on those two bits of hose there to make that hose up. Throw some jank in the tank, which I've got a jerry can down it. I'm not sure whether it's going to be enough, to be honest. Bearing in mind the system's completely empty and it's not quite a fuel jerry can, so we might be robbing some fuel out the back of the Fiesta to get this going, because I know that's got a fuel tank and it's sitting around there, a full tank, and it's sitting around there not doing anything. So yeah, throw some jank in the tank, fill the pumps up, prime the pumps, check the oil pressure, crank her over, and see how she gets on. Right, like I said, time's getting on, so I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to crack on. Catch you in a minute. Oh, pardon me. Right then. Where are we at? Let's have a recap. Right, as you will see, I am in different clothes to the clothes that I was in 10 minutes ago. That's because my clothes are over there soaking wet. I made off the lines with the fittings like I'd planned to do, so that would go to that, something like that. And then, well, basically, it's my fault, completely my fault. I ordered the wrong size coupler. I ordered a -8 coupler. Well, when I say I ordered, I told Wes to order a -8 coupler. which should have been a -6 coupler. So it was either don't start the car tonight or rob more parts off the Fiesta. So inside the car I have stolen, if you bring the camera around that door, you'll see there is a black nylon braided line in here. I have stolen this black nylon braided line. That's the return off of the Fiesta. So I've stolen that for now, which means we'll be able to get fuel in it, get it tested, etc. And then I'll just get a -6 fitting ordered up. I guess, so let me show you guys, I can't remember if I showed you the finished product under the car, but fuel tank, fuel system, bits and pieces on this side, drops through over there. We've finally got the proper fitting and everything on there. And then under the car, pretty sure I've shown you all this before anyway, under the car, so you can see, drops down there, pump and filter set up there. It's all now clipped up as it should do with the nice clips, modified them, drilled them, tapped them and riveted them in. Up the front, still need to put the crap brackets on here, still cable tied together, but everything is all together. So in theory, we put some fuel in it,
give it a whirl.
I'll bridge out, we disconnected the fuel pump anyway.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll bridge out the terminals on the fuel pump so it runs consistently, just runs constantly, because I have not got the software for this ECU yet. I need to do that. So it's not like on the Fiesta where you can go into the ECU and override the output. You can do that, I just haven't got the laptop and the software for it. So we'll bridge it out on the relay, and in theory start building fuel pressure. Check for leaks. If we've got no leaks, lovely job. I then need to connect the oil pressure line up to the back of the block. Once that's done, we can put oil in it, crank it over, make sure we've got oil pressure, no leaks, and start it. No coolant in it, but it will start with no coolant for a few seconds, minute or two. It's not gonna do it.
A few moments later.
Okay, right, take two then. We had a fuel leak on the back there. That little cap off fitting was cross-threaded. I did notice it was cross-threaded before, and I left it because I didn't want to undo it and then uncross it and ruin the thread completely. So I thought I'd see how it goes. It did leak, so I just had to have all the fuel, all that swirl pop back out. But we did get that, kind of a bit of gentle filing and a bit of PTFE tape. Did get it to go back on straight. So that should be fine now. I've worked out what's what on the relay down there, so I've got that bridged. Dean is now, despite the leak, we weren't getting any fuel pressure up the front end. So Dean's got a jerry can and he's going to hold that one feed line into there, and we're going to see if we're going to get anything, if we get anything to the rail. Go from there, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Pop you there. Hang on, right, pop you there, so you can see it coming in flames. Right. You ready?
Yep.
Oh, hang on a minute. I forgot what one was what. It's that one. Ready?
Yep.
Anything? Nothing?
Nope.
Nothing.
Not yet.
Nothing at all. Yeah. It's definitely running.
Sorry?
It's definitely running.
Is it?
Oh fuck. Crack off the feed into the pump, fuel fucked out. So is the oil in it?
Right. So whilst we've been draining the petrol out at the bottom into the jerry can, we've got to work on the oil pressure line for the gauge, and just down in there now we've got line going through the bulkhead, grommeted, olive and brass nut on the other side, and Kieran is just underneath
Practicing yoga.
yeah, doing some yoga, getting the other half of it sorted. So
It's nearly there.
nearly there. Can't really see too much in there at the moment, but
Pull that through.
there's plenty of line on the back end.
Plenty of line. The problem with this mechanical line is it's so thin and once it's kinked, it's kinked.
Then I lose.
Right, that's the end of it. So I'm just trying to be a bit gentle. I'm going to go up the back of there, and there's like a little the back of that, and that's going to go onto there.
And we can't see anything.
Not really. I'll grab the camera off you in a minute. And
see if anything at all.
yeah, so that goes on there. That's going to go around there. There's an old fuel line clip thing there, so I'm going to use that to clip it out of the way, keep it out of the way of the steering rack. That's the thing of beauty. Right, run up. Oops, tighten that up.
Just about see it.
Hang on. What size spanner do I need? I need 10 mil.
You're 10.
10.
Got it?
No, I've got an 11.
Ooh, tricky.
Close. No, it won't even go. 10
Right.
mil. Need a 10
You
mil.
take that, you chop.
Yeah. Right, whilst Dean gets me a 10 mil, I'll attempt to show you what we've got. So obviously, it comes through the wall where he showed you there. A little grommet on the firewall kind of there, can't really see. Comes through there. I've then tucked it. Hang on. Let me move the mic out the way a bit. Right. I've then tucked it behind the steering rack brace to keep it right out the way, and then it runs along in there, up there, and then into the back of the T-piece there, which has got takeoff for the turbo and the oil pressure, and then obviously on this particular one, the oil temperature sender is in the side of the doodah housing there, so that's fine. That goes to the GTE dash. So basically, get a spanner, tighten that line up, put some oil in it.
Still looking for a 10.
I did have one earlier because that's what I used to steal the petrol at the Fiesta with. Right, yeah, get that tightened up, and then we'll probably turn it over on the key, get some more pressure moving around, and then we'll have another look at this. But I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, that high pressure pump is FUBAR. So, right, 2 seconds.
72 hours later.
Right, situation then. No bueno. Oh, I've got something stuck in my foot. Right, no bueno. Can't get any fuel pressure at all. Nothing on the rail, completely bone dry. Nothing. Both pumps are moving. So lift pump, fine. Getting fuel to the high pressure pump. Getting fuel, filling the swirl pot and everything back there. Keep looking back there, but so all of that's fine, which is good news. That's good news. High pressure pump, no bueno, not working. So I've ghetto rigged it, as you can see. Jerry can of fuel that side in. Taken that, well, there was nothing inside this pre-filter anyway. This is completely empty. So I'm guessing someone's emptied that pre-filter thing at some point in its previous life. I have taken the inside ball out of this non-return valve in here to make sure there's no restriction on the outlet, and then dumped it back in to this jerry can over here, and we're going to see if I can at least get the pump to pump fuel to work out whether it's an issue with the pump. I haven't checked the main filter, to be honest. It could be the main filter is really blocked, but I don't know. There was plenty of fuel in the pump. When I cracked the lines off, there was fuel coming out of the pressure side of the pump. So fuel's getting through the pump, but it's just not coming out at any pressure. The pump is obviously making all the right noises coming on and going brrr, like it should do. So I don't know. It's ghetto rigged. We're going to see what happens. I don't know if this is going to draw up enough fuel out of that jerry can naturally anyway, because obviously it should be a head of pressure going into the back of the pump or not. But I'm going to try it like that first. If that doesn't work, then I'll have to try and lift it up onto the wheels or something and try and get a bit of fuel going in somehow, somewhere. I have got a funnel, so if needs be, I could try and wedge a funnel inside there, fill the funnel, and I don't know, try and do something. I have got a fire extinguisher already, because the last thing I want to do is fucking set the garage on fire. Right, excuse me. You would notice it's obviously also another day. I've not been down here for a little while actually, last week and this week, because I've had man flu. And when I say I've had man flu, I just mean I've had a cold and just been a bit of a pussy about it, but Anyway, right, I'm going to connect the battery back up. Battery is connected back up. Ooh. I've got my little ghetto rig thing down there to ghetto rig the battery so that the fuel pump comes on. I'm going to pop you guys around here so you can see what's happening. Because I'm going to kind of climb inside the car to do this, because obviously the fuel pump is this side and the little switch thing's that side. So I'm going to kind of do that. So what I'm going to do is pop you guys, I reckon. Oh, hang on, let's sort this out. Good old Joby mount. Right, I'm going to pop you guys there. You can kind of see what's going on. Move that out of the way because I don't want to slide over. That will go in there. So, right, that's on there. That's dunked in fuel there. That's in there. Right, let's see if this will work. Right, pump's running. It's definitely not pulling up any fuel, which is annoying. See if I can try and encourage some fuel. I'll do this without fucking spilling shit everywhere. So I'll try and encourage some fuel into the... Oh. Nothing. Nothing at all. Right.
20 minutes later.
Right then, boys and girls. Fuel pump, no bueno, no good. Don't seem to be getting any oil pressure whilst cranking it. I have just taken all of the sump off and primed the, well, I say primed the oil pump. I had a little bit of a Google, and with these C20XEs and C20LETs, if they've been sitting for a very, very, very long time, the oil pump gets dry and they can struggle to build pressure until they've then sort of re-lubricated themselves, or so I read anyway. So what I've done is I've stripped the sump off. Or I didn't film it because it was very oily and greasy and horrible, but I stripped the sump off, took the baffle off, took the oil feed line off, and pushed a load of assembly lube, pushed some engine assembly lube into the oil pump gears and gave it a crank over to get the pump all nice and lubed up. We took out what oil was in there, obviously, and then when we refill it, we'll be refilling from the top of the engine, so we'll drench everything in the top of the engine and it will sort of all filter its way down. But I'm not going to do that yet because there's no point. We're not going to get started because the pump don't start. My hands are all dirty now because the fuel pump won't run. Anyway, cracking on. Did want to get the engine running so that I knew everything was good before I went any further. But we're going to have to get a new fuel pump, and I need to get some stuff done. Otherwise, progress is going to slow up. So next on the list, before I do anything else, is to sort out this cross member. Now, obviously, on the underside here, if I show you, you can see there's an awful lot of holes and cuts, and it's been patched here. In the past, it's been patched here, it's been patched there, it's been patched here, it's been patched there. So, lots of patches, lots of cuts, not very strong. Now, we were going to try and plate it, we're going to carry on patching it, but there are so many patches and the time and effort it will take to plate it, you still won't get a good job. You know, well, I say you get a job, you get a good job, but you wouldn't get, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, cross member, new cross member. So, what we're going to do, as I spoke to Wes and I said, look, do you know what, they still make these pattern parts, you can still get hold of them. If it was my car, I'd just cut it out and put a new one in. Now the plan was I was going to cut it here and I was going to cut it here, and I was just going to use the centerpiece of this pattern part to replace what has been cut here. But when I've looked at it, I've got where I'd want to make the joint has already got a plate on this side. This side's not so bad because I could make the joint just there, be happy with that, but there's a plate here and it's sort of all rotten there, so that doesn't work. There's also a plate here. So I think it's going to be a little bit more involved than I'd hoped, but I think I'm just going to attempt to replace the whole thing, basically. So from here all the way across to there. In the long run, it's just going to be the best option. It's going to, there's none of this plated and repaired bollocks on the front of the car. It's just going to be one nice solid panel, front to back, left to right, right to left. Just going to be better. Anyway, I'm waffling. Time's getting on. I'm going to put you on a time lapse. I'm just going to start cutting, and I'll give you an update once I've finished cutting. Right. Let's go.